All right, good morning. Welcome. My name is Sean Carlson, and I am the Deputy County Executive that oversees economic development for the county. What a great day this is. This has been marked on our calendar about the last 60 days anyways, as we've been going through this process. On January 30th, the boss assigned a special project. Truth is, though, that this project started when County Executive Coulter stated in his 2020 State of the County address, quote, "I am determined as your county executive to make sure that county government is a full and active partner in Pontiac's future." It was Dave's vision in 2020, and it has been the top of his mind to make something happen since that time. The vision started to come in focus in January when Dave spoke with Mayor Greimel, and it became a special project. But as the project progressed from February to March to April to May, this was more than just a special project. It was a transformational project. A project that would take our county and the city of Pontiac through a journey and put us on new trajectories together for the future. That journey is not done, and we still have a long way to go. But I am confident that it will be successful because County Executive Coulter has built a transformational team around him. He has built a culture of addressing tomorrow's problems today, no matter how big they may seem, and his administration is hungry to do more. This is a different approach from the past, but it is one that stands for equity, one that stands for small businesses, for our cities, villages, and township, and most importantly, our residents. Without further ado, County Executive Dave Coulter.
Well, thank you, Sean. Sean has been our project lead on this from a county perspective from the very beginning, and he's just done an absolutely amazing job. You don't do a project that is this big and this complicated without great leadership, and I'm so happy to have Sean on the team. You know, I've used this statistic a lot, but I want to share something with you. Oakland County is the largest county in the country that doesn't have a community over 100,000 people. Think about that. You know, you think of Wayne County, you've got Detroit, and Kent County, you got Grand Rapids. We don't have a community over 100,000 people. And when I first heard that statistic, what it says to me is what makes this county special are the unique communities. We have 62 different cities, villages, and townships across this county. And together, collectively, they represent what is strong about Oakland County. We also have dozens and dozens of unique downtowns, and they are part of what contribute to the quality of life in this county. But there's one downtown that has not seen the love and the investment that it deserves over the last several decades. And that is one of our most important downtowns because it's our county seat. And over the years, for lots of different reasons, there has been a disinvestment in this community, whether it's on the corporate side, General Motors, and they've made their decisions, but they've left town. The county left town in the 60s when the courthouse used to be here in downtown Pontiac. And for those of you who are old enough to remember, this was a thriving and exciting downtown. And I believe that it will be again. It's on the way, by the way. I don't want to take all that credit. The current leadership here and the council and the work that they've done is bringing Pontiac back. So we just want to be a part of it. We want to make our county seat downtown as special and as exciting and as prosperous as other downtowns throughout our county. So why now? Well, the stars sort of aligned in this project, quite frankly, and I want to share just a little bit about how and why this came together. Number one, there is an unprecedented amount of financial support available at the state level, at the county level, at the local community level because of the funds that we got through COVID. And one of the things we heard from the president and that we took to heart in Oakland County is, look, these are one-time funds. So do things with these funds that are, and the word gets thrown around a lot, transformational. I've been in politics for 20 years. I've never seen this kind of an opportunity financially before. Mostly what we've done is tried to figure out what to cut. We have a unique opportunity to make an investment in our communities and our county that really can set the stage for the future. So there's monies available. And by the way, Senator Moss there he is, was our biggest champion, along with our state rep who couldn't be with us today, but was our biggest champion in making sure that we got the resources that we needed from Lansing, because we could not have done this project had it not been for the leadership of the legislature, Jeremy Moss, Brenda Carter in Lansing, as well as the governor, who has signed these funds into her budget just recently. So it wasn't possible without that. We wouldn't even be having this conversation. Then the county has also received ARP dollars. So we're going to use $10 million of our own COVID relief dollars into this project. So financially it made sense. So, okay, that's step one, right? Step two, and this, I don't want to get into the details of this, but we've had an issue at the county that I've been thinking through and working through with our board for the last couple of years. We have 45 buildings on our campus. We have 5,000 employees. We're a big organization. Those buildings have not seen the kinds of repair and investments that they have needed over the last decade or two. They need a lot of repairs. So a couple of years ago, we hired Plant Moran to do a study of our buildings. Well, it turns out some of those buildings need a lot of repairs, probably to the extent of $550 million or so. That kind of stuff keeps me up at night. I don't know, we're a wealthy county, but we don't have $550 million to fix all the buildings. So then, and at the same time, our workers are going to a more hybrid work policy, right? Not everybody has to be in the office all the time. So it gives us an opportunity to reimagine what our buildings on the campus look like and perhaps take some buildings offline that we don't have to invest in. So that kind of lined up. And then, of course, the mayor and I, earlier this year, had a conversation about these COVID dollars, how we're spending them, see if we can align with how we're spending them, but also with this notion of what could we do that's really transformational? If we can only do one really big thing, what would it be? And from his vision and ours, and the vision that was eventually embraced and shared by the council and my board of commissioners, we understood that the most important thing is that this could be a catalyst for the redevelopment of downtown Pontiac that many of us remember from our youth. I really believe that. And it's anecdotal at this point, but I will tell you that I've heard from investors and private developers who want in. They've taken notice of this. And that's for me, that's my real dream, that this commitment by the county will be a catalyst for private developers to come in and say, hey, you know what? I want to open a restaurant. I want to open a shop. You're going to have hundreds and hundreds of folks downtown that weren't here before. You're going to open up Saginaw Street, the main drag. I'll let the mayor talk more about the specifics of that. But I want to be part of that. That is my hope. That is my vision. In the past, this isn't unprecedented. In the past, the county not only made the decision back in the 60s to move the courthouse out of downtown and put it on the west end of the city, but about 15 or 20 years ago, the county also did something similar. They bought an empty building and refinished it, much like we're going to do with these buildings, and they moved the executive office team there. That property's in Waterford. It's not even in our county seat. I think that was a mistake or a lost opportunity, I would say, and we're going to correct that. We're going to correct that starting today by reinvesting our employees, our talent, our sweat equity, and our passion to our county seat downtown, and that starts today, and I couldn't be more excited. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for sharing that vision.
The next person I'd like to invite to the podium is Mayor Tim Greimel. The mayor and I had many conversations along the way, but this one in particular was on the evening of May 4th, a day before we were going in front of the Economic Development and Infrastructure Committee to get approval to move forward with a real estate deal. And we talked about legacy, that this was a legacy project. Legacy is about life and living. It's about learning from the past, living in the present, and building for the future. Thank you for your partnership, Mayor, the early and later hour conversations to keep this project going, for fighting for Pontiac and the residents, and the tough negotiations. We have a lot more to do, so let's keep the momentum going. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Tim Grimal.
Good morning. And I mean that both literally and figuratively because it is morning in Pontiac. This is indeed a momentous day, and I really want to begin just by giving credit to where it's due. As you heard, the county executive and I have had a lot of conversations around this project going back many, many months, and in truth, we've had conversations about collaboration between the county and the city going back to the first month that I took office, back in January of 2022. So going back now over a year and a half. And those conversations included many topics. They included the interest and commitment of the county executive to moving county employees to our downtown. They included how American Rescue Plan dollars, how those federal dollars could be best utilized by the county to assist the city. And we had a number of these conversations throughout last year. And finally, the county executive said, to his great credit, the county executive said, I want to do something big. I want to do something transformational. And that's when I pitched him on this idea. And he grabbed a hold of it and never let go. And I am so grateful for your partnership, county executive. So grateful as well for Chairman Woodward's partnership and the commitment of everyone on the county commission, or at least most people on the county commission, to really embrace and pursue this project. But I'm also so incredibly grateful to our city council for their embracing of this project. And of course, it would not have been possible without the very generous support of the state of Michigan. And two people in particular really merit thankfulness, and those people are our State Senator Jeremy Moss, who's here with us, as well as our State Representative Brenda Carter. The two of them worked very, very hard to get the funding from the state for this project across the finish line. And I want to reflect for a moment on what this means for the city. It will accomplish several key objectives. Number one, it will bring at least 500 county employees into the heart of our city, immediately rejuvenating downtown businesses because we'll have additional employees here who will be frequenting restaurants at lunchtime or establishments after work. But it will also, as the county executive said, spur additional private investment and private development right here in the heart of the city. At the same time, it will accomplish an important goal of reconnecting Pontiac's Main Street, Saginaw Street. Over 40 years ago, those running the city at the time somehow thought that it was a good idea to build a parking garage that obstructed our Main Street and bifurcated downtown into two different sections that were completely disjointed from one another. And through the county's acquisition of the office towers and their commitment to demolish this old, decrepit parking structure, we will both remediate that blight and get rid of that derelict structure while simultaneously reconnecting our central business district, Saginaw Street, downtown Pontiac's Main Street, and restoring the integrity of our downtown. But perhaps most importantly, this reverses many decades of disinvestment on the part of the county from our downtown and once again restores Pontiac's rightful place as the heart of Oakland County. So as the county executive and I have often discussed, the word transformational is indeed often thrown around far, far too often. But in this case, there is no better word, there is no truer meaning of the word than transformational, because this will transform not only our downtown, but our entire community and create additional prosperity that will be shared by all of our residents. So thank you to all of the partners who have made this successful and made this possible. I am so grateful for all of your hard work.
The next individual I'd like to invite to the podium is I would like to invite Senior Pastor Jones, who represents the community and community leaders at large. He's from the Welcome Missionary Baptist Church. Ladies and gentlemen, Senior Pastor Jones.
Thank you for this opportunity, and let me thank everyone that is here and that's participating today. What a great morning and day this is for Pontiac, for our residents, our businesses, and our desire to make Pontiac a city of destination. A few years ago, I met with then County Executive candidate Dave Coulter. And among the things we discussed and I proposed was bringing a county department to downtown Pontiac and relocating and occupying a visible, viable structure in downtown. Dave Coulter, our county executive, took the challenge and saw the vision that would bring more business, more opportunity, more employment, more foot traffic, and more housing development to not just the greater Pontiac downtown, but the greater Pontiac community. Today, we see the results of that discussion, proposal, challenge, and vision. Today, we witness what can happen when two leaders, Mayor Grimal and County Executive Coulter, join together with congruent goals to achieve community development. Am I proud? Yes. Am I happy? Yes. Am I upbeat? Yes. And it all points to Pontiac being the beating heart of Oakland County and soon the place where you want to be seen and successful. So today I thank Mr. County Executive, thank you. County Commissioners, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Powell, who believed in and beat me up about this. Thank you, Pontiac City Council. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you, Pontiac residents, for believing that all things are possible as this development brings great possibilities to us all as Oakland County continues to move forward. Thank you.
The next person I'd like to invite to the podium is a small business owner that has been here 8 years. And so I want to apologize to her, Karen Buscemi, if she can come up here right now, Detroit. She's from Detroit's own company. But it's a tradition, I think, when new neighbors move into the neighborhood. So we should have brought maybe a strawberry shortcake or something like that. So I apologize. We'll get to that later. But she has been here for 8 years, and she has been is an example of a small business that is believing in Pontiac from 8 years ago. But she's also an example of one of the 15,000 companies that rose to the occasion during Oakland County's darkest hour, which was COVID. And one of the many companies that came forward and helped to be part of the solution. And so without further ado, I want to introduce you to Karen Buscemi.
Thank you. I'm getting dessert. All right. Good morning. My name is Karen Buscemi, and I own Detroit Sewn, a full-service sewing factory that has been located in downtown Pontiac since its inception 8 years ago. This is a very exciting day for our city. We are fortunate that we don't rely on foot traffic for our business. Over the years, we've seen many businesses come and go, specifically restaurants, boutiques, that do need that crucial foot traffic to operate. It's not that there aren't people working in downtown Pontiac. There certainly are. The issue I see is they don't spend time in the downtown area because they don't need to. In the larger buildings that house the largest amount of workers, everything they need is located within those walls. They can grab a coffee, get in a workout, have a meal without ever stepping outside. So I encourage Oakland County to not set up the towers in this way. They need to give the people reason to leave at lunch or on breaks, and to make sure that their employees are aware of all the options that are, and hopefully soon will be, available to them right here in downtown Pontiac. Thank you to Oakland County for setting something into motion that brings with it great opportunity for the city of Pontiac. Thank you.
All right, the next one I'd like to invite to the podium is the representative of this downtown area on the county commission, and that is Commissioner Angie Powell.
So, last Saturday we had a guest in our city, and one of his songs is, "Today is a good day." So can I get everybody to say that? Today is a good day. And it is for the city of Pontiac. Being born and raised in this city, I have not attended anything on the Phoenix Center since I was in my early 20s, I think, maybe my late teens. So to just see the vision from our executive, David Coulter, and that day he did do that speech at his State of the County address. And I did stand up and I pointed right at him. Because you want to know why? He knew I was going to hold him accountable to this statement of moving Pontiac forward, and Pontiac was on his radar for this year for him to make something happen. I want to thank everybody that was a part of this, from our mayor, the council, commission, our executive, because guess what? In over 40 years, City of Pontiac has not received any attention of any assistance, and it was okay for us to look like an underserved community for so long. And our former administration, our former county executive, paid us no mind and would not put any investment in this city. So that is enough to give David Coulter even more kudos, because he took this project to make it thank you. He took this project and made it a priority, and none of us let up once conversations started. So with that being said, I just want to thank our community, and just know that you all know I am a very trusting face in this, and this is a good deal for us to move our city forward. And it's just going to bring so much more energy. I can just feel it, just even last Saturday, and just the talks since this was even announced in our city. Yeah, you're going to have naysayers, but guess what? We're ready to prove y'all wrong. Thank you all for being here.
All right, the next person I'd like to come up here is Board of Commissioners Board Chair David T. Woodward. It was mentioned earlier, this is big, right? It's transformational. It's a legacy project. Big things cannot happen in this county unless the chairman of the board and the Board of Commissioners is on board. They are the appropriators of funds. They make things happen. Chairman Woodward was there at every meeting along the way, from January 30th, the kickoff meeting, to August 8th with the Pontiac City Council, when they voted to approve the memorandum of agreement. He has been a strong proponent and, most importantly, a partner in getting this done. Please welcome Chairman Dave Woodward.
Good morning. Good morning. Oakland County's coming home. All right. It is, truly an exciting opportunity to be part of this project. I remember exactly where I was sitting when I got the call from the county executive saying we have an opportunity. And the project was this big, which was big at the time. And it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And we did not, it's an absolute true story. And I made the commitment, our board made the commitment. We would do whatever we needed, all the steps we had to do, meet as frequently as necessary to put us in a position to be at this moment today. And I wanted to thank my Board of Commissioners, many who are out here, so raise your hand. Special shout out to the chair of our Economic Development and Infrastructure Committee, Yolanda Smith-Charles, that generally got the brunt of me. You have to call a meeting tomorrow and pull everyone across the county together to get this done. These were the mechanics that were necessary to make this happen. As someone who has great memories of dancing on top of the Phoenix Center, the great concerts, and the energy that's been in this town, this project is going to be a catalyst that makes our county seat one of the most vibrant downtowns of any county in all of Michigan. There is no doubt in my mind that that's going to happen. Commissioner Powell mentioned a reality. 5 years ago, this project would never have happened. It couldn't happen. The conditions are different today, and I want to put all those conditions that cause why it couldn't happen to bed. It is gone. It is the past. This is the future. And the point that I really want to stress about this is it's not just a new building and a facility. It's not just bringing the 500 plus employees to downtown Pontiac. It's not just the economic injection of investment that this is going to contribute to. It is how the public leaders in the county and this city have worked together in no other time in history. That the relationships that have been built and strengthened over this process is something that I have never seen in the 25 plus years of involvement in county government. Everyone knows each other. Everyone's talking to each other on a regular basis. The partnership with Pontiac and the county of Oakland has never been stronger. And that is because of the leadership that the people of Pontiac put in office. It's because of the new leadership that's in place, all united around a vision that's being led so powerfully by our county executive, Dave Coulter. This is a big thing. This is a big deal, and it's going to change the trajectory, not just for this community, but for this entire region. And I couldn't be more proud to be part of it. Thank you very much. Thank you for everyone who put all the effort in, did all the work to make this happen, because this is just the beginning.
Yes.
All right. So every big project, transformational, legacy, whatever term you need, needs a money guy. And needs a champion in Lansing to bring it home. Yes, and that person, for us, was State Senator Moss. So please welcome State Senator Moss.
I'm the guy with the check. I represent a large corridor here in Oakland County, including the city of Pontiac. And I want to talk about why the state must have skin in this game, too. There are fewer communities around our state that have endured more challenges and suffered through more neglect from all levels of government than Pontiac. And you've heard about the decades of disinvestment from Oakland County in its own county seat. But many of these hardships were amplified by state actors as well. To put it bluntly, for too long, the majorities at the state capitol ignored urban communities. You can see it all throughout the state, and Pontiac is no exception. Lansing balanced its books on the backs of places like Pontiac, and it slashed needed revenue sharing, setting up cities for financial failure, and then installing emergency management that accelerated these local crises. The state has a lot of sins to atone for. And through it all, the residents of Pontiac remained resilient, proud of this city, and hopeful that better days were in their future. This is a very special place with very special people who call it home. And they're deserving of a fair shot. When our new majority was elected in Lansing, we knew we were going to pass a budget with a lens of equity and lift up people who have not gotten an equal chance in many, many years. When I first sat down with Executive Coulter and Mayor Greimel and Chair Woodward and the local leadership about this transformative project, we could feel the synergy and that we all represented the pieces in place to deliver for Pontiac and the people who call this city their home. Pontiac, your day has arrived. You have the attention you've long been worthy of. This $50 million allocation from the state budget is the single largest allocation for a district project in our state budget. I'm going to repeat that again. This project is the biggest allocation for a district project in our entire state budget. I also want to mention, we were able to finally secure $10 million for the much-needed repair of the MLK Bridge.
By the way.
So, Pontiac, you are seen, you are valued. These were my priorities as President Pro Tem of the Michigan Senate, and as I told this Pontiac story to my colleagues, it soon became a statewide priority as well. And I have to acknowledge and thank our Senate Majority Leader, Winnie Brinks, and our Senate Appropriations Chairwoman, Sarah Anthony, for giving us the space, for giving us the space to make the case for this proposal and for them embracing it as their own. And of course, I have to thank my partner in the legislature, State Representative Brenda Carter, for doing the heavy lifting in the House and for bringing Speaker Joe Tate and Budget Chair Angela Whitwer on board as well. After years of state neglect, we are finally delivering a massive reinvestment back home. I'm honored to be in this fight as the state senator here and be a part of this city's journey because Yaktown don't back down.
The next individual I'd like to invite to the podium is President, City Council President Mike McGinnis. Mike, do you want to come? Mike, do you want to come up here? And I made this comment to him earlier. I haven't had a chance. I've seen a lot of school board meetings. I've seen a lot of city council meetings. But I was telling him earlier how impressed and efficient he is at running a city council meeting. Very, very gifted. And we first met on July 10th when we sat down with the city, and right away wanted some information to start sharing with his members. And we can't thank you enough for your partnership. So, ladies and gentlemen, President of City Council, Mike McGinnis.
Could I please have all the members of the Pontiac City Council join us at the fore so we can celebrate them? We have 7 very effective, very committed, and very passionate representatives of the 61,000 people that are blessed to call Pontiac their home. And it is the people of Pontiac who entrusted us with these big decisions that really are the stars from the process and leading up to this celebratory moment. Because if the people of Pontiac weren't committed to change, progress, and innovation, these leaders would not be in their seats, and we would not have received that positive reinforcement and that welcoming message. Many thousands of Pontiac residents, Pontiac businesses, those that work in our community, those that grew up here but might be other parts of the region, the state, or the country, they believe in our city. And they believe in this project as a catalyst to move forward. I represent one of our 7 districts. We are in District 1, represented by Councilwoman Melanie Rutherford. We have representing District 2 and also a small business owner in our downtown, Brett Nicholson. Representing District 3, Mikhail Goodman, who has spent his entire life in the shadow of these towers and looking at the Phoenix Center. But at 23 years young, he in his entire lifetime has not been able to see this crossroads of our city and crossroads of our county to be fully engaged, active. It's mainly been dormant, mainly been neglected, and it's to the detriment of residents who have lived here for decades, residents that have lived here for just a short time, but even those who spent their entire life here. It has been a missed opportunity. And today we get to celebrate a new chapter and redeveloping, reconnecting, and revitalizing a really important area. Representing District 4, the Honorable Kathy James from our City Council, who is such an advocate and a subject matter expert when it comes to parks, public spaces, recreation, and placemaking. She will help move this project forward because there's many more steps to come. This is a really important pivotal crossroads, but we know together with the county that the city will have a lot of work to continue to do, roll up our sleeves, and make this stick, make this thrive and sustainable for generations. We're not in it for the sugar high or the quick buzz. We want decades and generations of progress and success. Representing District 5, we have the Honorable Councilman William Parker Jr., who's also a pastor at New Springfield Missionary Baptist Church, where he is right now, literally a few blocks south of us in this important crossroads and hub. representing District 6, President Pro Tem of the City Council, William A. Carrington, whose leadership and advocacy made sure that this was the best possible deal for our taxpayers and our residents and our businesses. And I do also want to give acknowledgement not only to Mayor Greimel, but also Deputy Mayor Calfani Stevens, who is with us, who works hard to restore the city services, repair the past struggles of our city, and help us make further strong financial decisions. It hasn't been mentioned yet, but I just want to make a plug that State Senator Moss and State Representative Carter also secured $5 million, a lot of moolah, for the city of Pontiac to resolve debt service tied to past frustrating deals regarding this bad boy, the Phoenix Center, that has stood in our downtown for over 4 decades. That debt service relief means that $80,000 a month the taxpayers of Pontiac aren't paying to resolve past frustrating deals and avoid past lawsuits. So essentially $1 million a year. We've already sunk $1 million into that sort of frustrating and not the best use of taxpayer dollars to absolve those past crises, that we will now have to get to avoid $5 million more that put on the backs of the taxpayers that aren't making our lives better, aren't investing in our community and revitalizing our commercial corridors. So thank you, Senator Moss. Yeah. Thank you, Representative Carter. And thank you to Governor Whitmer for signing that, but essentially also thank you to Mayor and Deputy Mayor of our city who helped negotiate and advocate for that, because that's a big deal. And there are many important elements to this process. The City Council voted unanimously at our recent City Council meeting to approve the agreement with Oakland County, which is a big deal, to have that kind of collaboration and mutual trust and stepping off into an uncertain but exciting next steps. We authorized the transfer of the Phoenix Center's 8 acres to the county so that way demolition and progress can be underway. Our thoroughfare of Saginaw Street can be reconnected. Auburn and Orchard Lake could be free from the concrete albatross overhead. We can have a revitalized and useful public performance space and green space of multiple acres right at the heart of our downtown. I mentioned the elimination of the debt off the backs of the Pontiac taxpayers, the constructing of new parking structures that are modern and useful and a lot less strangling for our downtown business district, but also that can last for another generation or two. And that's done, thankfully, with the state resources, not on the backs of the Pontiac taxpayers. I am delighted that the Pontiac taxpayers are out of the massive parking structure business. And I'm really excited about what that means for our downtown businesses and visitors to our signature events. I've gone on too long. I'll just say thank you to this council and thank you to the voters of Pontiac that put us in place to make these hard decisions, because change is scary, but change will come regardless. And change and atrophy and loss has been experienced. So I am honored to have chosen the path of change that's about redevelopment, reconnecting, and revitalizing for our great community and our entire county. Because if you know Oakland County, and if you know Pontiac, for the last 2 centuries, it's been change, progress, innovation, and prosperity. And this is a decision that turbo blasts change, progress, innovation, and prosperity. That's who we are. That's who we are in Pontiac, and that's who we are in Oakland County. And we have been the crossroads for the state and the crossroads for the region when it comes to transportation and industry and commerce and vitality. And baby, that's true now more than ever before. So let's give a standing ovation to everyone that was involved here. I am so honored to be able to give it back to Deputy County Executive Carlson, and you get to hear as well from our colleague who fought like heck for this priority in her district since she represents downtown Pontiac. Deputy County Executive.
Thank you. All right, our last speaker, but let me tell you, if you were there on July 27th in front of the Board of Commissioners and heard her Moments and Movements speech, you would understand she's certainly not our least speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, Councilwoman Melanie Rutherford.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, you can do better than that. Good morning. Good morning. There's a song that says, people get ready. There's a change coming. You don't need no ticket, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the people humming. You don't need no ticket, just thank the Lord. When they sang their song, they understood that there was a change coming, there was a movement, and we all needed to get on board. So at one point, never in the history of the city of Pontiac has there been this type of movement. But I want you to look around you. This is the face of what Pontiac looks like. This is the future of what's going to happen. There's going to be more jobs than have ever before been created in the city of downtown, and it happens in Yaktown. There's going to be more opportunity for small businesses that has never, ever happened before, and it's going to happen where at? In Yaktown. You get it. There's going to be opportunities for you to grow and raise your children, and where is it going to happen at? Yaktown. Yeah, all right, choir. There's going to be an opportunity for you to stretch your step when you walk downtown, when you look good at a concert, and where is it going to happen at? Yaktown. Give it up for my counselor right here. They did a good job. Let me tell you why I'm excited. At 44 years old, I've never seen something like this happen. I've never seen a group of people who got beyond their fears, who got beyond their attitudes, who got beyond their distrust and said, we're going to do this thing. And we did it. Remember this moment. Remember where you are. Because we did not use fear when we made this decision. We used what my pastor Tobert always called me, faith. Because faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things yet seen. And I have faith in the city of Pontiac. I have faith in Dave Coulter. I have faith in David Woodward. I have faith in this amazing, magnificent 7th council. I have faith in the mayor. I have faith in Tim Grimel. And most importantly, I have faith in the citizens of Pontiac that we will have a new dawn, a new day, and a new light. And God, I'm feeling good. Have a great one.
All right. That concludes our speaker, and I want to invite County Executive Coulter back up here and others in regards to any questions that we have from the media.
Yeah, that concludes our press event, but if there are any questions of the media that you have of me or of any of our speakers or of any of the people up here for that matter, please feel free. Yes, sir.
Obviously, I know there's bidding processes and things that need to happen for all of this, but is there any sort of timeline that you can give us to when this will be done?
Yeah, so the question is about the timeline. And yep, as excited as we are, I said our job now is going to be just to lower expectations a little because we have to create RFPs, request for proposal. We got to, the state was incredibly generous, but it's a big project, and we're going to look for a private-public partnership on removing the deck and building the new deck. So to do that, we have to be transparent about it. We'll do RFPs. We'll ask for bids from private developers to help us with this. So that's going to take some time. The big question, perhaps, is when do employees start to move in that building? I would just say, just to set expectations, probably sometime not until the end of next year or the beginning of 2025 is when we would actually start to see employees in that building. And between now and that time, we'll do things like get construction firms and private partners to help us with. And by the way, another key component on that timeline is going to be working with the residents of Pontiac and the council to make sure that we to collectively envision what we want this site to look like, what they want this site to look like. So there will be community engagement, lots of it. I'm from Ferndale. We did this on every project. I think it's critical to make sure. And as much as the council has its pulse on what the residents are excited about, we're going to ask them as well. So there's a number of steps. We could probably get you a more detailed timeline if you want it, but that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah.
So do you have a sense when the Woodward Loop would be reconfigured, and assuming it would be in conjunction with the new development here?
Yeah, I mean, when I talked about the stars aligning, that is another star that's aligning. We are finally going to fix the mistake of having people drive around downtown Pontiac instead of through it. I'm going to look at either the mayor or the deputy mayor to talk, because you've been in more contact with MDOT than I, so if you want to just address that.
Yeah, it's a really important point that you're raising, and while they're two distinct projects, they certainly go hand in hand and complement one another. And MDOT has committed to reconfiguring the downtown loop with some preliminary work starting as soon as the end of next year, the end of 2024. But the real meat of that project won't get underway until 2025. So the timeline here does align well, and we certainly, now that this is official, we certainly want to work with MDOT to coordinate that work so that we can make sure that we get the most bang for the buck about the city planning benefits and the configuration benefits of having both the Woodward Loop reconfigured so that it is a pedestrian-friendly two-way street rather than this one-way superhighway that serves as almost a kind of moat around the downtown, which is what we've been faced with for many decades now. So changing that to a two-way configuration that's pedestrian-friendly is hugely important to reconnect downtown to neighborhoods, but then also coordinate that so that as Saginaw Street is reconnected, we really do, as the county executive said, invite people into our downtown instead of around and away from it.
Yes,
So you're bringing about 600 people to these buildings.
that's right.
Is your office moving here? Who's coming?
Yeah, so we have not even begun those conversations yet. The question is who's going to be moving, which employees will be moving. I mentioned earlier we have about 5,000 employees in 45 different buildings. We're going to, use our Plant Moran study to evaluate, the physically which buildings we can use and not use. But in terms of which departments, we're still just in the early phases of that. I could see me up there in that building overlooking this beautiful downtown, and I'm not opposed to that if that's where we end up. But I want to say this: we're gonna put this through a lens, and the first lens we're going to do is what are the departments that have the most public-facing services? Because as beautiful as our campus is, it's not always the most convenient to get to, and I believe this is going to be far more accessible for county services. So what are those county services that have the most foot traffic, that have the most people that need to access them? And so that'll be the first lens that we put, but we're just early in that process. Yeah. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you being here.